to see you. Welcome to all of our citizens who are here in person. Great to have you here. Welcome to everyone who is joining us online. This is Monday, April 21st. It is 7 o'clock p.m. and this is a regular meeting of the Waverly City Council. This meeting is called to order. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you're keeping score at home, we'll be down by one. Mr. Drinko is a little under the weather. Councilperson Myers is a moment behind. She's en route. So 6 will be unanimous tonight. You have an agenda, City Council, in front of you. Can I have a motion?
I will move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? This will be a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous. Welcome back, John Pentecost. Good to have you again. Again, I'll call on you at the end of the meeting. If in the middle of the meeting you have something urgent, just let Carla know and she'll get my attention.
Just start.
Okay, we've got a set of minutes that have been prepared for you by our city clerk. They are in front of you. Can I have a motion?
I move approval of the April 7th, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I hear none. This will be a voice vote. All those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, please say aye.
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 And opposed? That was unanimous. We are on item E, public hearings. This is the date, time, and place for a public hearing on Resolution 2554, a resolution approving and authorizing the conveyance of real property to Prime Development Properties, L.L.C. The mayor and city council will entertain any comments. After all comments, the hearing will be declared closed and the following action will be considered. If you'd like to speak to Resolution 2554, please rise to the microphone now. I see no one. This public hearing is closed.
Mayor.
Yes.
Written.
Oh, of course. It's right here in front of me, too. Madam Clerk, have you received any written or oral comments?
I have not, Your Honor.
All right, then we remain closed. Can I have a motion?
I move approval of Resolution 25-54, a resolution approving and authorizing the conveyance of real property to Prime Development Properties, L.L.C. for the purchase price of $1 and in consideration of buyer's other obligations under the agreement.
Second.
Any discussion?
So this is so that they have access from the west, is that correct? So we're adding this little strip of land so they can connect it, have road access from the west. Are they also going to have road access from the east?
I'm gonna have Paige come up and address this. You know how bad that went for me last time. I'm not gonna try it again. That's why she's here, so.
Paige Yoder, zoning administrator. The front portion will still remain the same access along 4th Street Southwest. With that waterway that is in the middle, it is protected by the Corps of Engineers, so you can't disrupt that. So the main access point is going to be along, if we were to vacate and sell 16th Avenue Southwest. I know the owner has been in discussions with Goodwill to see if there could be another access point along the south, but that has not been decided on yet.
But coming from the east, you've got kind of that driveway into the veterinary clinic that's kind of north of Cousins. Is that going to be extended to provide access from that direction? Or
Not at this point.
Okay.
And that would be a decision on the DOT as well, but I don't believe they want that access to go all the way back.
Okay.
So Paige, I just have a question about the layout. So I drove back in there and it's basically a dead end. So are they thinking about putting housing to the right of the dead end, like in the part that's the orange east-west rectangle on here? Or are they thinking of the aqua rectangle? I'm not sure where they're thinking of building.
When you come in at that dead end, the road will turn and go south. The housing would be down south a little bit, because that wetland area goes all the way almost to that end of the vacated, or of the 16th Avenue Southwest.
So they're going to put housing up against the wetland?
It'll be to the
basically?
east of the wetland, yeah. No, west, I'm
West.
sorry. I had my directions
Okay.
west.
Okay, and then the golf course is to the north. And
Correct.
so are they gonna put buildings to the south of the golf course?
Yep.
Too? Okay, so like maybe an L-shaped something?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any concern about flooding?
That area is out of the flood.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how else we would turn that into productive land, but we
Right.
we certainly need to make sure there's access to it.
Yeah.
And if they want to develop the road to get access to it, I suppose we should encourage that, because rather than us putting it in.
Any more discussion? Thank you, Ms. Yoder.
Thank you, Paige.
Are you ready to vote? You look ready to vote. This will be a roll call vote. Carla?
Wolf?
Yes.
Rafi?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Kangas?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Bergen?
Yes.
That was unanimous at 6-0. Thank you. City Council, I'd like to propose for you a proclamation. This is a proclamation of the National Preservation Month. Whereas, every year in May, local preservation groups, state historical societies, businesses, and civic organizations celebrate Preservation Month to promote historic places and our heritage tourism. And whereas, historic preservation is an effective tool for revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability. And whereas, it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the relevancy of historic preservation in both urban and rural communities across the nation and by Americans of all ages and all cultural, ethnic backgrounds. And whereas, the city of Waverly is a treasure trove of historic resources, including 5 historic districts selected by the National Park Service for listing on the National Register of Historic Places. And now, therefore, we, Mayor and City Council of the City of Waverly, Iowa, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Preservation Month in Waverly and call upon its citizens to join the nation in recognizing and participating in this special observance. In witness thereof, I have hereunto subscribed my name. Can I have a motion?
Move approval of proclamation is read by the mayor.
Thank you.
Second.
Excellent. Any more discussion? Proclamations are a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That passed unanimously. Thank you. Now is item G, time for public comments on items which are not currently on the agenda. You will please limit your comments to not more than 5 minutes unless additional time is granted by the presiding officer. All remarks will be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any individual member. Is there anyone who would rise to speak?
Wouldn't want anybody from historical preservation to speak on the proclamation.
Do we have someone from Historic?
Bard?
Okay, hang on a sec, I missed something. I didn't remember that you were there. Yeah, come on up, talk to us about historic preservation.
Well, thank you for the proclamation. My name is Bard Mackey, and I'm co-chair with Darius Robinson, and present also is Mary Meyer from the commission. And on behalf of them, thank you for the proclamation and the support that you folks give us. Can I put this on the scanner?
If someone here knows how.
And,
We have.
We have it.
oh, this is for the
For the
folks.
public. Yes.
Thank you. In celebration of said proclamation, in May, during the month of May, the Waverly Library will be hosting an exhibit put forth from Wartburg with photographs and text and that sort of thing on many buildings, pictures, that sort of thing from over the years for the college. And that'll be our May celebration. Originally, we were going to do our usual, year recognition of properties, et cetera. But with our decision to make it concerning the winners, so to speak, is going to be about the historic downtown of Waverly. We thought, let's put that off until after the bridge is finished, thereby being able to do both sides, not, showing one or the other. And we're going to present, coordinating with the chamber and the theater, that celebration. We'll keep you informed as the details draw near, but it does look to be a pretty nice one. And I've got a follow through, if you recall, it was last month or 2 months ago that we came in and visited, and Mary spoke about the, it's the Cedar Hill Park, that little cemetery. Well, evidently 3 members of the Premier County Historical Society met with the Office of the State Archaeologist, and they've said, the OSA said the park is on record on their map as a cemetery location on 1875, 1894, and 1917. They also had a flyover radar that actually shows the divots where the graves are, as in they're still there. So that, I think that is just fantastic. There'll be more to come, but I wanted to follow through with that after our discussion. So that's, I think that's neat. And that is supposedly where, do I have that right, Mary? That Ira Sturdivant and the original settlers saw the place for the first time, and there are folks up there.
Is there some discussion from the commission about some sort of signage to recognize that that's a cemetery?
Yes, we're looking into that now. It's kind of, we're taking it, we weren't sure there even was anything. There was word of like a half a tombstone or something, but now with this, additional information, now we're gonna kind of carry it through and see if we can't follow through this next year.
Very good.
Any other questions? Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for your work on the commission. All right, let's go back. Where are we? We are at public items, Comments for items that are not currently on the agenda. Is there someone who would like to rise to address the council? Please come forward. If you identify yourself, and you have 5 minutes.
Yes. Hi, I'm Josh Rouser, citizen of Waverly, pastor at Grace Baptist Church. Live in Ward 1. It's been a great city to live in. I have a letter that I want to read to you from fellow pastors here in this city. I have a copy for each of you. If you would like it, I can give it to you after. We have all the pastors' names, all the churches, as well as a bibliography. Dear City Council members, thank you for your service to the City of Waverly. We appreciate your hard work and the many hours you spend governing and making decisions related to Waverly's growth, development, and services. We write recognizing that the City Council is the administrative and financial and legislative authority over city business. We respect your efforts to govern the citizens of Waverly with excellence, wisdom, and justice as you work for the good of all citizens. We also recognize the challenge of serving and making decisions for a diverse population. So again, thank you for your leadership efforts and for letting our voices be heard. As a group of pastors and as spiritual leaders who serve many citizens in the city of Waverly, we wanted to communicate regarding planned city activities. We are aware that the Human Equity and Diversity Commission is sponsoring a Pride event, a glow float down part of the Cedar River that ends at Coleman Park, and that event, as well as other events associated with Pride Month. We wish to express our concerns and opposition to the City of Waverly, the City Council, and/or the HED Commission to host, sponsor, and/or fund these events for the following reasons, which are just 2. We understand that the Pride Glow Float is to celebrate and foster community and visibility for the LGBTQ+ community. As part of the HED's commission, and I quote, to design and initiate actions that promote diversity and secure equity for all people within the city of Waverly and to shape a more diverse, inclusive, and equitable community, close quote. As a group of pastors and some of the spiritual leaders in Waverly, we represent over 1,000 Waverly area congregants that hold to God-given truths regarding marriage and sexuality as expressed in the Bible and represented in traditional Christian beliefs. Therefore, we do not believe it is wise, nor in the best interest of all of Waverly citizens, for you, our city leaders, to use their legitimate, God-given, and citizen-approved authority to promote and endorse morals and values that contradict these truths that shape the lives of many of Waverly citizens. We do not ask the City Council to regulate personal and private legal behavior, nor to discriminate against any of its citizens. Rather, we only ask that you consider the beliefs and practices of all Waverly citizens when you decide to sponsor public activities and events that endorse and promote specific views on sexual identity and morality. Secondly, the plan for the Pride Glow Float down part of the Cedar River is for participants to be over 18 years old or accompanied by an adult. Research and experience demonstrates that Pride River events can become indecent and sometimes pornographic. This raises concerns and questions. How will the city ensure that no minors will see or watch these public adult river activities? And will the city allow other citizens to host and engage in adult public indecent activities? Additionally, according to research, Pride events have become controversial even within the LGBTQ+ community because of its commercialization and because Pride events attract activists from outside the community and promote behavior that often doesn't represent the local citizens or the local LGBTQ+ community. More research, including a meta-analysis of multiple studies, demonstrates that promotion of DEI activities and policies is divisive often reinforces stereotypes and increases prejudices, and has a negative rather than positive effect. And I have a bibliography of all those studies and statistics on the back. These realities clearly suggest that these kind of public activities don't fit in a community that promotes itself accurately as one of the best communities in Iowa to live and raise a family. Therefore, we ask the City Council to carefully reconsider whether it is in the best interest of the city's mission, the city's children and families, and the well-being of Waverly citizens to promote these kind of public activities or to use taxpayer money to fund these public events. Thanks again for your leadership. We respect your authority. Thank you for giving serious consideration to our concerns and opposition to the City Council approving and promoting the Pride River Glow Parade. Respectfully, Josh Rouser of Grace Baptist Church, and I guess if you guys want me to read the other pastors that were a part of our...
If you could give your
Yeah.
copies to our city clerk, and she'll distribute them for us. And thank you very much, Pastor.
Any questions? Or I don't know how this works.
Well, we're not allowed to respond to you because it's not on the agenda.
Got it.
So we
Thank you, guys.
can't discuss that here and now.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to an item that is not currently on the agenda? I see none, so we'll move on to consent calendar. Friends, you've got 7 items in front of you. Can I have a motion?
I'll move approval of the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I had a question. When will we have the results from MSA on Memorial Park?
Should be very soon. We've done a few drafts. We're fine tuning everything, kind of moving some things around. It didn't seem to work, but I'd say in the next few weeks, it ought to be hopefully wrapped up.
Correct. We're really
Close.
close right now. We're on a second draft of what we've done this time around.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're really close to it.
I just had a question for clarification on item number 6. Is this related to the tech support switchover that we had discussed and voted on a couple months ago?
It's part of the bond that we reallocated funding for last month. And so we're looking to, instead of piece by piece, switch by switch, try and reroute what we have. We are going to do it in force and mass because we're still having a number of failures. Our servers, everything is getting old and outdated. And piecing it in day by day is not helping. We need to do a bulk replacement to get this to work again. Because when we're down, you wouldn't think it with no internet, it paralyzes what we can and can't do. And it affects servers, it affects systems. It's been patched together for years and years. We are going to take this out and redo it, hopefully in a matter of 30 days, get the entire thing replaced. So that's what that first down payment is for equipment.
Thank you.
Anything else on the consent calendar? You appear ready to vote. This is a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That's unanimous at 6-0. Just as a friendly note for our visitors, it is not considered rude to leave after your item has been discussed. You can come and go, it's fine. It's whatever works for you. All right, ready for regular business? Get some work done here. Number 1. This is the first reading of ordinance 1165, an ordinance amending the municipal code of ordinances for the city of Waverly, Iowa, by repealing all of Chapter 90 thereof entitled Building Code and enacting and adopting the new Chapter 90 in lieu of entitled Building Code. Can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the first reading of ordinance 1165, an ordinance amending the municipal code of ordinances for the city of Waverly, Iowa, by repealing Chapter 90 thereof entitled Building Code and enacting and adopting the new Chapter 90 in lieu of entitled Building Code.
Second.
Thank you.
Who are we giving them to?
Take it over there. Okay, discussion, building code.
So it looks like this is mainly to make it consistent with what the county is doing. I don't know if Paige had any more comments.
We're
or you had
adopting
comments.
2024 International Code. Bremer County has done that. They do a lot of our inspection, permitting, things of that nature, so then we're on the same page as they are. So we're just updating. The last one we had officially adopted, I think, is 2018. So this gets us current with what everything else around the county is happening.
Okay.
And the county has already adopted it.
What's that?
The county has already adopted it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's got to be easier for the builders rather than having different codes in different towns.
That's why we want to be consistent, yes,
Yep.
sir.
Point out, this is our second thing we're doing tonight to attract housing, so
Absolutely.
good for us. Any more discussion? Item 1, ordinance 1165, any more discussion? You appear ready to vote, this is a roll call vote, Carla.
Rafi.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
That was unanimous at 6-0. Item 2. This is the first reading of ordinance 1166, an ordinance amending the zoning ordinances of the city of Waverly, Iowa, and setting a public hearing. Can I have a motion?
I move to approve the first reading of ordinance 1166 and an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Waverly, Iowa, providing for rezoning of parcel ID 10071101027 from R1 residential district and R4 residential district to R2 residential district and setting May 5th, 2025 at 7 p.m. or 7 o'clock at City Hall as the date, time, and place for a public hearing.
Second.
Discussion. Questions?
So it looks like this is going to be used for single-family housing.
Again,
Yeah, 3, right?
Okay. And I don't have any objection to this. It just made me think about past discussions we've had where we talk about the east end of town as sort of a hodgepodge, right? A mixture of commercial, ag, residential. So this is just sort of consistent with, with that, but
Well, it is taking an area that's R1, R4, and R2 and making it all R2.
yeah, yeah.
This would be our third item of business to promote housing.
Right.
Just want to point that out.
Not that we're counting or
No,
anything.
we're not counting. Any more discussion? All right, let's have a roll call vote.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Rafi.
Yes.
That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Item 3, the first reading of ordinance 1167, an ordinance amending the municipal code of ordinances of the city of Waverly, Iowa by repealing Waverly zoning code section 100.406, accessory building and breezeway requirements, and replacing it with a new section 100.4.06 in lieu thereof, and setting a public hearing. May I have a motion?
I'll move approval of the first reading of ordinance 1167, an ordinance amending the municipal code of ordinance of the city of Waverly, Iowa, by repealing Waverly zoning code section 100.4.06, accessory building and breezeway requirements, and replacing it with a new section 100.4.06 in lieu thereof, and setting May 5th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at City Hall as the date, time, and place for public hearing.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion.
So basically that's to do with swimming pools, right? So the pool area will not be considered an accessory building, but it sounds like the pavement around the pool,
Well, I think it's if there's a deck.
if there's a deck
Yes,
to the
deck,
pool.
correct.
Yes.
That's the key.
Okay.
And I would also add, there was a lot of discussion about fencing around the pools, but it was decided at the end to let the homeowner's insurance policy
Dictate that.
that.
Okay. I know that Health and Human Services mandates a 6-foot fence around a pool if there are foster children in the house.
And I think there are lots of different rules that come into play depending on lots of different variables. But I think the decision was that this was a issue of land use rather than safety. So,
Do the pool manufacturers give us some sort of kickback for closing the pool in the summer, so people have to build their own?
Just wondering if the uptick in pool requests has to do with that, but
Yeah,
they
you wonder
apparently have
that.
never tried to maintain a pool in a northern climate,
Yeah.
so, but,
Okay, swimming pools, you look like you're ready to vote? Roll call vote, please, Carla.
Kangas.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Bergen.
yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Rafi.
yes.
Myers.
Yes.
That was unanimous, thank you. We're on number 4. This is the third and final reading of ordinance 1163, an ordinance amending sections 105.4.11, parking fines of chapter 105 of the Waverly Municipal Code. Can I have a motion?
I will move to approve the third and final reading of ordinance 1163, an ordinance amending section 105.4.11, parking fines of chapter 105 of the Waverly Municipal Code of Ordinances.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Well, I spent the Easter holiday in Minneapolis, and I can tell you that there, they would be grateful for $20 to park. That's a bargain in the city. No discussion? Then, in that case, it's a roll call vote.
Jones.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Rothy.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
That was unanimous. Item 5, Resolution 2555, a resolution approving a plat of survey of parcel ZZ located at 2203 East Bremer Avenue. Can I have a motion?
I move approval of Resolution 25-55, a resolution approving a plat of survey for parcel ZZ located at 2203 East Bremer Avenue for Kroll, Inc.
Second.
Any discussion?
Basically just helped them get their driveway wider out onto
Yeah.
the highway and,
It's a lot of work to widen the driveway.
Yeah. All right, you appear ready to vote? Let's have a roll call vote, Carla.
Bergen.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Rothy.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
That was unanimous, thank you. We're on number 6, Resolution 2556. This is a resolution approving change order number 1 from Steggy Construction of Waverly, Iowa for the Waverly City Hall Wall Project. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve Resolution 25-56, a resolution approving change order number 1 from Steggy Construction of Waverly, Iowa for the Waverly City Hall Wall Project for an increased amount of $2,049.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
So it sounds like this was something that came up after work done on the other areas. It was determined that what we thought might not have to be done needed to be done.
Yes, ma'am. That's a great way to put it.
Any more discussion? Let's have a roll call vote, Carla.
Bergen.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Rothy.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
That was unanimous. Number 7, Resolution 2557, a resolution approving an agreement with Harold Reichs Surveying, HRS, of Waverly, Iowa, for the Parks Maintenance Building Parking and Driveway Project, and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement. And did I get the name right? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Can we have a motion? Anyone?
I move approval of Resolution 25-57, a resolution approving an agreement with Harold Reichs Surveying of Waverly, Iowa for the Parks Maintenance Building, Parking and Driveway Project for a not-to-exceed amount of $8,000 and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Is this the final phase?
Yes, this is what you approved. Part of your bond is to get that parking lot started and
Right.
finish out that whole complex.
But
That should do it.
I mean, we've been looking at kind of the renovation, but this is the last one.
Last piece.
Excellent.
You appear ready to vote? Carla, let's have a roll call vote.
Wolf.
Yes.
Rothy.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
That was unanimous, thank you. Item 8. Resolution 2558, a resolution approving a proposal from HRS Survey of Waverly, Iowa to prepare a water main easement along the western boundary of Lenore Estates, that is, the west end of Karstensen Drive.
Move to approve Resolution 2558, a resolution approving a proposal from HRS Surveying of Waverly, Iowa to prepare a water main easement along the western boundary of Lenore Estates, west end of Carstensen Drive for the amount of $1,500.
Second.
Excellent. Any discussion or questions?
Could you guys explain it a little bit, the necessity? Because it looks like, 2 blocks away, you can cross to the east.
That is an area that has been finished for quite some time, but it was never accepted by the city, even though it was done with that intention, I believe. So we are going to get a easement from Carstensen, which we're going to bring back to you at some point in time, and then again going across. But
Right.
I'll let Justin get the fine tuning of it, because I'm trying to get this to move on my screen. It will not.
This proposed water main loop will actually tie in, so whenever there's issues out there and say the mains would have to be shut down if there's a water leak or some work needs to be done, we can keep supply service to the school and public works building, anything. And it also works to our industrial park if there's, say there's a problem with sale barn or other items. Right now, it's a large dead end. All the way on industrial park's a large dead end, the school's a dead end, sale barn's a dead end. It all is entirely driven off that north-south water main there on 24th Street Northwest.
So you're basically wanting to extend it across where the yellow box is?
Yes,
Under
correct.
the
We'll connect
highway?
those 2 points, and
Okay.
then that will actually allow us to provide water there if there's a problem to the east, which we have had a lot of water main breaks and a lot of issues there with valves.
Now, is Karstensen Drive that dead-end street?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you think the city's gonna take that street over eventually?
At some point,
Because
we're
it's a
looking
private
at.
drive now.
We're looking at taking the water service, the street, we may see when that's finished to take that over, but we will look at the water main first. We're trying to work with the current owners, see what that looks like, because of the age of the pipe, the condition, what's fair, if we do decide to take something like it over. But that was my mistake, we were on a different item. This is just to get the looping in for the rest of that area that we don't currently have. Otherwise, you're shutting down the school and the entire industrial park and everything.
Why are there, Justin, any theories on why there are water main problems there? Why there have been breaks?
This area is known to have some, what you call it, kind of hot soil. It erodes water main construction materials, the pipe, the bolts. So we've had to replace numerous valves on that area. Sale barns had issues in there, and on their services and other things as well.
Would the work be done this year then?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the intent. This is basically just to get started with the conversation with them. I've talked to them actually already on, we're working with them on accepting the water main on Carsonson itself. But this is just to get, so we can pair it up with that acceptance so we can get the project moving. This is leftover money that we had funded from bond proceeds from the water tower project. I believe that since the bids came in really well, we can allocate it towards this.
How long does a project like that take? Will the highway be closed or?
This will be bored underneath the road, won't be open cut. That's the intent. Usually when you go across those, it's simpler just to bore under.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a fairly simple project, a couple, 300 feet or so. It's not that much for a contractor.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask a question that might be stupid, but.
No stupid questions when it comes to water mains.
I know that some of the residents of Park Third Avenue Northwest on that corner have had some, what they consider serious issues with drainage coming off of the school property and across that farmland there, and then causing erosion in their backyards. Is there any chance that that could be looked at while we're over there messing around?
A lot of that's on private property, coming off of private property. I know they made some accommodations. They have worked with them a little bit on some drainage ways and some other items like that. Other than that, I'm not really totally familiar with the issues.
Okay.
Anything else, council? Are you ready? Let's have a roll call vote, please.
Rafi.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
That was unanimous, thank you. We're on to item 9. Resolution 2559, a resolution awarding the citywide asphalt patching, spring 2025, to Klusner Construction Incorporated of Farley, Iowa. Can I have a motion?
Move approval of Resolution 2559, resolution awarding the citywide asphalt patching spring 2025 to Klusner Construction Incorporated of Farley, Iowa for the bid amount of $14,231.50.
Second.
Any discussion?
They've done work for us before, haven't they?
Any more discussion? Patching? All right, Madam Clerk?
Excuse me, Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Rafi.
Yes.
That passed unanimously. Item 10. Resolution 2560, a resolution approving the purchase of a 2026 Freightliner 108SD tandem axle cab and chassis with hook lift, front-mounted wing, front plow, and hydraulics from Don's Truck Sales Incorporated of Fairbank, Iowa. Is there a motion?
I will move approval of Resolution 25-60, a resolution approving the purchase of a 2026 Freightliner 108 SD tandem axle cab and chassis with hook lift, front-mounted wing, front plow, and hydraulics from Don's Truck Sales Incorporated of Fairbank, Iowa for the price of $250,625, less the trade-in of $50,000.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
So I was just wondering I noticed 3 out of the 4 bids talked about the tariffs. How does that affect the bid process? When you accept a bid and then the price goes up by however much?
Because they don't
money?
know that number yet.
I know.
Yeah.
And so are we purchasing the truck for this number, or will they then tack on
I was
some
told by
unknown
Downs
amount?
if we order it by 2 weeks from now, within that time frame, they would guarantee these.
If the
It was
tariff
just
hasn't
when they
hit
sent
them?
the bid out, they didn't know when it was going to
Yeah.
council and all those items. And actually, the tariffs were extended when these were sent out.
Right, okay,
For the delay on them.
okay. So even if their price goes up, they have to guarantee it at this price?
Well,
If we get it in before the tariff happens?
If they get it ordered before theirs, is what I was told.
It looks like this is the low bid because of the size of the trade-in. So they seem to have the highest trade-in value of all of them, so.
Yeah. Trade-in usually wins these trucks. these truck
Okay.
bids.
I guess they trust us not to abuse the truck.
Any more discussion? Carl?
Kangas,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Bergen,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Rafi.
Yes.
Myers.
That was unanimous. We're on item 11, which is Resolution 2561, a resolution amending the design services contract with SlingShot Architecture and Bolton Mink Incorporated for the city-owned building located at 117 First Street Northeast. Is there a motion?
I'll move approval of Resolution 25-61, a resolution amending the design services contract with SlingShot Architecture and Bolton and Mink Incorporated for the city-owned building located at 117 First Street Northeast to provide additional investigation of the site upstream and downstream of the hydroelectric portion of the building to determine what riverfront amenities are possible.
Second.
Okay, we're on the table. Let's have some discussion.
So we talked about this during budget. This is one of the items that we also have in our bond. It's less than what we were anticipating. So as you look at the hydraulic building, our goal is to see what is possible upstream and downstream. And this is what they're gonna start to get into. What's under the water, in the ground, what's the topography look like? Is it even possible to do it? Or are there different types of piers they're gonna have to put in to make this work? Will it be earthen? Will it be cribbed? How are they gonna get it done in the first place? So this is a lot of that engineering. You're gonna be dealing with DNR, you're gonna be dealing with the water, Army Corps, all that stuff is gonna be a part of what this is. So this is the actual project that they brought to you during budget that we are now moving forward with.
With the divers and the...
Does
All
this
that.
include like the soil bearing borings?
Everything.
Okay, I remember they said one of the concerns is that the topography is haphazard and lots of karst holes. and-
Karst.
Yes,
Yeah,
karst.
Which is basically
Yeah.
caverns and
Yes,
Yeah.
holes
Yeah.
inside,
hollow
so.
holes in the limestone and the, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Swiss
Yeah,
cheese, that's a
bedrock
good-
here,
Swiss cheese, yes.
cave here, sand here. They need to know what's in the ground to determine the best way to even do this, if it's even possible.
Right.
And so if this is successful, you may choose to move forward. If it isn't, that may be the end of it. But then you'll know what is and is not capable of that riverfront.
I have to say I'm surprised and disappointed in this number. I was out of town for that meeting. That's the night I tried to log in.
Correct.
I watched the minutes or the YouTube when I got back, and then when it was on the agenda again, or this tonight, I watched it the second time. We asked the engineer rough cost, and he thought 100,000 to do the water study, the soil riverbed study. I mean, that was his quote, 100,000. I understand there's got some engineering on top of that, But when SlingShot has added another $55,000 of fluff, I don't see anything that they're actually doing to speak of. We're paying them $59,000 already for the few drawings and concepts that they've come up with. I'm all for finding out what it's gonna cost to do things. I mean, we have to be informed to make proper decisions. But some of the stuff that we're paying for now is actually more designing, more site designing. Well, why are we paying for more site designing if we may find that it's cost prohibitive? I think we're getting the cart ahead of the horse here. And to go from $100,000 study in the structural engineering's 107, that's in ballpark, and Bolton and Mank have got $31,000, some more studies in there, fine. But why are we paying this extra to SlingShot? Another question is, we work with Bolton and Mank directly, why are we going through SlingShot on all of this?
They're the architect, they don't do engineering, so
I
Bolton
know
Mank has
that,
to.
why aren't we working directly with Bolton and Mank?
You can choose to do that. SlingShot was brought in by Bolton and Mink to do the architectural side of this, the design work, the survey work, some of what they're doing.
Okay.
So the first piece that you looked at was to see if you even wanted to move forward with the building at all. That was the $59,000. They brought in the proposals as to what it could look like, what it will look like. We toured the facility.
Right.
That's structurally what they've done there. Now you're getting into what's beneath the water, which is where the structural engineering comes in.
Sure.
I don't disagree, some of the visualization, I don't quite know how comfortable I am with that. This is a not to exceed, we can certainly have that discussion with them. You can table this if you want tonight, we can drag them up here and have them explain it to you. I have no problem doing that. We can absolutely do that.
Well,
So
I know how I'm gonna vote, I don't know about my fellow council
Sure.
people, but this seems like not the best use of taxpayer money.
Okay.
I'm all for getting answers, we need answers to proceed, but we do not need to put any more into design work, when the answer might be, we're not gonna do it. It sat empty for 10 years, what's the rush? Let's get the study done, let's bring in that barge, do the drilling, do the bore testing, all for it. And then we can say, well, do we want to actually proceed with some more concepts and drawings and engineering? That's my opinion.
Well, I can certainly go back to them and tell them that's all we want to have included in this contract. I have no problem dealing with that, if that's what council would want done.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are good points. I think it's, it's several pages, and it was hard to tell exactly what it is
Well,
of
it's
the
also hard
language.
when the way the font, I mean,
No, I know.
they fade out.
I know, I know.
the ink.
But so under the, where it's the 268, so some of it does look like engineering, like water and environmental, but I'm not sure quite what that is. But I agree, the site design, I don't know that we need any more until we know if we're gonna do something, just like Brett said. And so I think it would be good to maybe pin them down to what parts are just engineering. What do we need to do in order to go forward to design? Because it doesn't seem, I think you're correct.
Yeah, we need the engineering for sure.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
I'm wondering, why can't we just work with Bolton and Mank?
And we certainly can. Would you
There was a
like to-
thing
For
in
this
their-
next
There
phase,
was a
yeah.
thing in their contract too, and I know it was on reimbursable expenses, but any hired consultants, they tack on 15%. Are they doing that with the engineering?
I didn't believe so. I think that was straight engineering from them.
There's a section in here where it says Bolton and Mank's rates, and then it's blank. There's nothing there.
They have a separate attachment for that.
Okay.
And if you click in that link, again, this is a PDF, so you can, it will say, see the attached 2025 schedule of fees, Bolton and Mink hourly rates. It's right next to SlingShot's hourly rates. And we can get that for you as well.
And that's what we already agreed to when we contracted with them.
They've sent you the
for
updated
general
2025 rates.
engineering,
Yes, ma'am.
but it's not listed here, yeah.
Well, I would ask you then to table this till May 5th, and we can come back and have a lot better scope of what you're seeing here, and if nothing else, bring them here as well to defend what they are going to do. They do list out some of it, as I said, from the topographic surveys. Do we need more visualization, site concept? Maybe not. So again, this is the amendment they brought to us. This is why we brought it to you. I did not want to determine what you do and do not want to do. We can go back to them and let them know where we're sitting and what you'd like as a council versus what's in front of us here. We have no problem doing it. So if
Okay,
you're-
I've got a motion on the table. I think I can also entertain a motion to table.
I would like to make a motion to table at this time.
I'd second that.
Any discussion? We're talking about a motion to table.
Now specifically, motion to table should include the date when we're going to bring it back up again, I believe.
It sure can. I
Okay.
think it'd be the first week of May.
Okay.
The first meeting, I think, is the 5th, so it should not be a problem.
Okay.
Any more discussion? I think that a motion to table is a roll call vote. Anyone gonna fight me on that? Carla, let's have a roll call vote.
Jones.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Rothy.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
We are tabled. Item 12, Resolution 2562. This is a resolution approving a professional service contract with Martin Gardner Architecture, that is MGA, for an assessment of the existing golf course clubhouse facility. Is there anyone who'd like to make a motion?
I move approval of Resolution 25-63. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Resolution 2562, a resolution approving a professional services contract with Martin Gardner Architecture, MJGA, for an assessment of the existing golf course clubhouse facility for an expense of $13,200.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Questions?
So the last time we worked with them, did they look at any of this previously of rehabbing the building? Or were they just looking,
Not to this level of detail.
not to this
no.
extent? Okay.
When we initially looked at the referendum going, it was to try and get that ground used as efficient as possible, down to a single level, meeting the ADA requirements. They can still do that with this. You're just gonna have ramps, you're gonna have a lift, you're gonna have a whole lot more intricacy of what's gonna happen in there versus new single level, here we go. So when the referendum did not go through, we've went out, we've looked at it, we've met it, we're gonna see if it could meet the needs we're looking for. It'll still be an 80-year-old building that's multiple phases, but what can it be based on the designs and then some of the ideas that we've had, mechanicals, electrical. And that's what our goal is, to figure this out first, to determine if you want to go forward with that, you want another referendum, what would you like to do? So we want to make sure we pull that this time in a lot more detail than what we did the first time. Because they did go through it and
Yeah.
it's rough.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see what this will look like.
We already did the site work, right? Before the,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, okay.
So I don't know how much of the parking lot area we'll be able to touch, because again, you're not disturbing the building, so you have to work around that. So whether that'll be included, it's gonna be something we have to look at.
Any more discussion?
I would just comment, I think it would be helpful for the public to see, once this that we're discussing tonight is completed, to then feel like they can really see what all the options are and all the ramifications if it does come back to another referendum.
You appear ready to vote? Carla?
Bergen.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Rothy.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
That passed unanimously. So we're on number 13, which is Resolution 2563. This is a resolution directing the advertisement for sale of $10,215,000 of general obligation bonds, Series 2025A, and approving procedures and official statement. Can I have a motion?
I'll move approval of Resolution 25-63, a resolution directing the advertisement for sale of $10,215,000 in general obligation bonds, Series 2025A, and approving electronic bidding procedures and official statement.
Second.
Speaking of building pools.
Right.
Okay, any discussion? All righty. Carla?
Bergen.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Rothy.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
That passed unanimously. Number 14. This is approval of a mayoral appointment. Can I have a motion?
Move to approve the appointment of Pete Fuller to the Planning and Zoning Commission to fill a vacancy for a term ending May 1st, 2030.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? This is a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That passed unanimously. You have in front of you a whole bunch of reports from boards and commissions, 11 of them. Any questions, comments, or discussion?
I suppose my only comment is there's a couple of very old minutes in here from like December and January.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I don't know whose knuckles to wrap and saying, it'd be nice to get the minutes, I mean, within a couple months.
Yeah.
But,
Or a couple days, yeah.
well,
Yes,
at
thank
least,
you.
at least by the next meeting.
Yeah. Anything else? James, got any staff updates, sir?
We do a little bit tonight, sir.
Just a reminder, it's spring special collections week, this week and next week. This week's bulky item pickup. You can get rid of some items just by the cost of it. You don't get a special pickup charge. We've been very busy with this so far. So if you have any items you want to get rid of, call, or you can go online and fill out a email and send it out there. Also, yard waste pickup is concurrent with this and also next week.
Garrett?
Okay, this Saturday, the 26th, it's finally here, grand opening of the all-inclusive playground. We plan on being out there and running that from 11 to 1. 11:30 will be the kind of the actual grand opening little ceremony. We plan on having the bookmobile out there at about noon, and then there will also be a Miracle League pickup game at noon as well. There's going to be food provided by Soft Surfaces, and then made and served by Kiwanis, so free food, come out and get that. Yeah, hope the weather looks good now, so let's hope for a good event. Then Saturday, May 3rd is one of the busiest Saturdays in Waverly, as I think everybody knows. I'll list off a few things here, but I'm sure I'm going to miss some, so feel free to watch for some other things as well. But that is Art Walk. It's the opening of the farmers market. We will have the firefighters pancake breakfast. The chamber has their downtown event, and then there's also the Try by Night. Those are the ones that I'm aware of. I'm sure that there are a few more as well. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Tonight, sir.
Councilperson Bergen.
Well, also on Saturday, April 26th, the Braemar County Community Partners is sponsoring the Family Fun Fair at the middle school gym from 9 to 11:30 in the morning. So you can take care of that in the morning and then go to the playground opening ceremony. Anyone who wants to discuss city council business, I will be at the Wooden Foot after the city council meeting. And I just wanted to acknowledge that Pope Francis died today at the age of 88. He did a lot of work towards improving and drawing attention to the most marginalized in our societies. It is with a heavy heart that I acknowledge his passing.
Councilperson Jones.
I didn't hear that about the Pope. This is kind of, I respect the people that came tonight and the Reverend's comments. And we're not going to solve these issues now, but let me just, for the record, I consider myself a Christian. Yesterday was the most important day of the year. My Savior was risen. But my Savior, my Jesus, is inclusive. My Jesus broke bread with the marginalized, with the prostitutes, with the outcasts, with the tax collectors. And as a sinner, it's not for me to judge others. That's all I'm going to say about it. Thank you.
Councilperson Myers.
Nothing for me.
Councilperson Kangas.
May 3rd Waverly soccer tournament as well.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
This is another event of that day as well. The other thing was a number of residences in the community received hail this weekend. And there are plenty of people in the community looking to offer their services to people. And I would just advise people to use caution when talking with these individuals. And if you're looking, look locally. One, it keeps the money local as well, but it's also allows for accountability locally as well. So.
Councilperson Rathi.
A couple of things. The community garden, it's that time of year again. Some prep work was done last week. I was not there, but they were very productive.
Are you
And
planting on May
planting.
3rd?
Huh?
Are you planting on May 3rd?
I think it's May 10th.
Oh, okay.
May 10th. And Pastor Dan, I see you back there. We've missed you. You were there a couple years ago. The weeds are still there, waiting for you. But planting's going to be, I think, May 10th, weather permitting. And then volunteers will be out there Saturday mornings and Tuesday evenings. So please come if you'd like to help out. The Exchange Club has their biggest fundraiser of the year, golf tournament, May 17th. So if you like to play golf and help out kids and families and veterans in the area, that's a great event. And you can sign up at the city course. We're always looking for business sponsors also. And last but not least, it's Administrative Professionals Day this week. I don't even know who that applies to most of the time anymore. It could be several very important people here at the City Hall, such as Carla, probably Val, Jen, you name it. So places don't run without people like that. I can tell you that our administrative professionals in my clinic, the place would stop if they weren't there working hard. So we appreciate all those folks. That's it.
I appreciate you holding the golf tournament on Norwegian Constitution Day,
Oh,
May 17th.
okay.
That's a
Didn't know that.
nice commemoration there.
Yeah.
Councilperson Wolf.
As the liaison to the Human Equity and Diversity Commission, again, appreciate hearing from our constituents. As a member of a marginalized group, people with disabilities, there are many times where it is not on purpose, but I do not feel part of a community because of the environment, both physical and social. And I know what it feels like to not be included. And events like this are to meet our neighbors who aren't as different as we think they are. And so they're just an opportunity to meet people like myself who want to be part of a community desperately. Also, I'll be at the Family Fun Fair rather than having coffee hours this Saturday. So I'll be at the middle school and be available for both Waverly Caring Assistance Network stuff and City Council.
Thank you. Guest Councilperson Pentecost.
I just hope everyone had a happy and blessed Easter last weekend and bring on spring.
Bring it on. Councilperson Rathi was kind enough to mention the sharing garden. I heard from Ron Lenth from over at County, and best estimates is that last season, 15,426 pounds of food was harvested out of that to be shared with food shelves and meals and whatnot around town. That has an approximate grocery store value of $24,912. So congratulations to that group. Wow. In my book, Easter has only just begun. It runs for 50 days until Pentecost. So I unapologetically say, Waverly, have a most blessed Easter season, and be kind. Friends, I'm open to a motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Aye.